What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, Detroit Poker. This is my video series about how to beat 1-2 no limit hold'em for inexperienced, break even, and losing players. So let's get into this video, guys. So in this video we're going to talk about continuation betting, but before we even get started talking about it, I just want to put this out there. Like, continuation betting is a very broad subject and it is very dynamic, and there's really not a lot of cookie cutter advice in this regard. Each game is dynamic and each situation is dynamic, based on what the player's tendencies are and so on and so forth. So I'm going to try to give you like my basic thoughts about continuation betting, and we're going to be talking mostly in regards to Bet Bluffing, but also for value as well. So first of all, let's talk about rule number one with continuation betting. So if there is more than 3 players in the pot, including yourself, do not bet. If the pot's 4-way, 5-way, 6-way, and you're thinking about bet bluffing, like, just don't. It's not profitable. Just give up. And I'm talking about spots like when you didn't flop anything, you don't have a pair, you don't have a draw, you're probably in position because you should be playing in position as much as possible. Do not bet bluff if there's more than 3 players in the hand, including yourself. You'll save yourself a lot of money right there. So the next thing I'd like to say about betting is, okay, if you are heads up or 3-way and you're thinking about bet bluffing, there's some things you want to consider before you do this. If the board is wet and you don't have any of it, like let's say that you have ace king of spades and the board comes out 6, 7, 8 with 2 diamonds and a heart. I mean, this is a board that could very well connect with your opponent's range. This board does not favor your range, and your opponents probably know that. So there's really no point to betting this board because you're probably not getting it through. So that being said, don't bet wet boards. The kind of boards that you want to bet bluff at are, and I'll just kind of list them from best to worst. So probably the best kind of board to bluff at is like a king high uncoordinated with no flush draw, something like king 8-3 rainbow. That is like primary, like best board to bet bluff. And then behind that is probably like ace high boards with no flush draw that are unconnected. So like something like ace 9-3 or ace 8-4. Those are going to be good boards to bet bluff. But the reason why I think king high boards are better is because a lot of your opponents are going to be playing ace X hands. So I personally find in my own experience it's not quite as successful on ace high boards as it is on king high. So the next kind of board to bet bluff at is like paired boards, and the best kind of paired boards to bluff at, in my opinion, are like boards where the paired card is higher than the other card. So like 8-8-3, like 7-7-4, preferably without a straight draw, like 7-7-2 or 9-9-3, things like that. Those are going to be boards that nobody's going to connect with, and if there's no flush draw that's like so dry, and most of the stuff your opponents are playing, like, it's queen jack offsuit and like jack 10, like that's the kind of crap your opponents are probably playing, and like small pocket pairs might peel once. So those make good boards to bluff at. However, if you get called on 9-9-3 rainbow, I mean, you should be considering the possibility that your opponent may have a 9. But some 1-2 players are extremely scared of being sucked out on, and they will just check raise anytime they make trips. So once again, dynamic. You got to know what you're up against, who you're playing the pot with. But if you get called on 9-9-3 rainbow, I'd definitely be kind of careful moving forward. Those are pretty much the spots that I think are going to be good for continuation betting, is just dry boards. I just gave you a few examples of those. Wet boards are no good. Like any kind of like connectable like board with flush draw, like 5-7-8, 6-7-9, like all that. If you don't have any of it, like don't be bet bluffing boards like that, because you're not going to get it through. It's just not going to work. now that we've talked about what to c-bet, bluff, and generally for value or as a bluff, I kind of like to size my bets like similar, and I'll just talk real briefly about sizing. I guess as a starting point, somewhere in the vicinity of 60% to full pot size or more, depending on what your objective is. If you flop top set against a calling station on a super wet board, I mean, you might want to just bet like twice the pot. If you think the guy will call, like bet as much as you think he'll call. If you're trying to get action with pocket aces on a jack high board, you might not want to bet huge, because if you bet too big, that you might value on yourself or whatever. So like I would say in the vicinity of 60% to full pot is going to be the range that you're going to be betting in. And there's so many factors on how big to bet that, you know, it's just situation dependent. That's my thoughts on c-bet sizing. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about c-betting. So we're going to have episode 10 coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. And after the series concludes, we've only got a few more videos left over here. I'm going to do a live stream here on YouTube, and it's going to give us a chance to talk with each other. If you have any questions or things that I didn't go over that you'd like to ask me, this is your chance to do that. I don't know how long it's going to go for, but definitely get a chance to interact with my audience, and I'm sure some of you are going to have questions. So if you're not doing nothing, you should definitely come and take part in the live stream and try to support my channel at the same time. So I will see you tomorrow, 6 p.m., episode 10. If you have not done so already and you like my channel and you like the content, you should definitely consider subscribing. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, guys. If you didn't like it, I guess you could leave me a thumbs down. It's not going to hurt my feelings, but I would prefer a thumbs up. So I'll see you tomorrow, guys, with episode number 10.